You picked the theme up as soon as I started it. Like, you knew immediately. Live from the basement of your grandparents, it's BatCast featuring Adam West. That's thank you for checking out BatCast.
Yeah, we'll go with BatCast.
Eventually we're gonna get a real name for it, and we're just kind of going with that for right now. But yeah, I'm Andrew Karachi alongside
Robert Ruff.
And what do we have in store tonight?
Ooh, we did introductions this time.
Yeah.
And we didn't accidentally call it the Pinfall Wrap-Up.
I almost did it.
What do we got in store tonight? All right, we'll be reviewing 3 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. The first one is See No Evil, which was actually, they're all really good ones. I always say that. It was a good one, but they're all really good ones tonight. Second one up was Beware of Grey Ghost. Third one is Prophecy of Doom.
I think it's supposed to be Beware of the Grey Ghost. I think that's a typo. I think when they originally did it, I think
Beware of Grey Ghost.
Beware of Grey Ghost.
I mean, he's known as the Grey Ghost in the episode, so
right.
It would make sense if it was the Grey Ghost, but I don't know.
And then Prophecy of Doom, right? That's it.
Prophecy of Doom. Okay. Yep.
So, I guess we'll go on and do our little bat news that we usually do, or anything DC related. Did you start any of the Telltale? When are you planning that?
That will be probably after this week. After I get through my hellish work week, then I will definitely have time, because I will have time.
All right.
So, and I actually have 2 days off in a row coming up this weekend. So,
oh wow! I haven't had 2 days off in a row since October. I haven't had 2 days off in a week since October.
Oh damn!
I work tomorrow too, so yay! Anyways, I guess this has been 3 really good episodes. These are very strong episodes. We're villain in any of them either.
Correct.
I mean, we'll start with See No Evil, and this was science fiction-y, like horror film almost. Like, this was kind of scary.
Yeah. Essentially, the whole episode revolved around. Well, I mean, it starts off with an invisible man, kind of like the boogeyman, speaking to a child. You find out throughout.
Are you going to do your little summary thing that you say you want? We really want to do this. Let's do the summary part.
You want to do it summary style?
Yeah.
Like the last time, did you like how that worked out?
It worked. We'll see how it works. But instead of we're digging deep in it. We got to let them know in case someone hasn't seen the episode, and let them know that there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen See No Evil, Beware of the Grey Ghost, or Prophecy of Doom, please check those out and then come back or listen to us while you watch it.
All right. So a small-time crook has stolen an invisibility suit, which he has been using to steal jewels, and now plans to steal his young daughter from his ex-wife. Batman confronts the small-time criminal.
Okay. That's pretty much what it was. Yep. So the episode really starts off with like a little girl talking to like an invisible man, I guess is a way of saying it. And it sounds like she might be just talking to an imaginary friend. That's Correct. What the mother thinks. And it kind of reminds me of the show that I was watching last year called Whisper, which Whisper is a lot more darker because it was towards an adult audience. But this was right there with it. Like, I was like, oh, God, I didn't know where they were going with it in the beginning. Then once I saw the invisible suit and I saw, okay, it's a common crook who's just stole a suit and now he's kind of unstoppable. But Batman confronts him the very first time they confront. That was kind of cool, like with the cement and the small room, and Batman a couple of times kind of got the best of him, trying to figure out who he was, how he got there.
Yeah, he threw paint on him at some point and burnt it off.
All right.
The villain, anyway.
It's a smart move by Batman to do that, to try to figure it out, because you're not going to fight it.
So he immediately realized that there is an invisible body. Like, I don't think I'd immediately comprehend that, like, there's something, like a person there, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but, yeah, I would figured it out with smoke and water and paint.
Your immediate reaction would be, this is a supernatural, like, thing. This could be a ghost or something like that.
Correct.
Not the Grey Ghost.
That's next up.
So what did you think?
Well, I'll say like overall, like the theme of the 3 episodes that we have tonight are there's no traditional villain.
Right.
Again, it seems like the way we're watching it, it's just working out this way that we're watching them in in trios of like either we have mob bosses or we have traditional villains or we just have like something else altogether. And this time it's worked out that like all 3 of these episodes have no traditional villains. And we're getting to see Batman like truly show like how he's almost just a crime fighter instead of a superhero. He's just being a crime fighter in this one. Pretty much a detective in a costume.
Yeah, so, I was gonna say like kind of like a cop show or something. Like if you're watching a cop show and a Sherlock Holmes kind of.
Well, style. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all starting with a mystery and he's solving the mystery. It's truly like it's a DC. It's a detective comic. He's being a detective in each one of these episodes. So I like the storytelling, and this did take, again, all 3 of these had a very dark theme tonight. I enjoyed the darker theme of this one. This one, to be honest, it dealt with child abduction. It dealt with a fractured relationship, home, and a father trying to kidnap his daughter to take him away from the mom that left him because he was a criminal. I mean, it was a pretty dark story.
Part of it,
Batman, of course, saving the day.
The one thing that I didn't like was and this is very minor, but it kind of major at the same time. This common crook or whatever, I still think that he should have had the opportunity, if he's trying to be in his daughter's life, that he should at least have the opportunity to talk to his daughter or his mom, to be able to explain to the daughter with the father in the room, and then kind of have a little bit of a what would you call? Because she's old enough to kind of comprehend things. Right. To kind of.
Well, I mean, the mother did say at one point that like when the father confronted her,
right,
that she told the daughter all about him and explained that her dad was a crook and blah blah blah. Which he was.
But you're not giving him an opportunity to make amends with his daughter, because it's like even if like their relationship shattered or whatever, you could still have maybe not a relationship with the crook who's a father, but at least to be able to have some kind of open line communication if you want it. And I don't think she was given that opportunity because her mom was like, he's bad, don't talk to him, he's bad.
But if he's proven that he's criminally bad to the point where he's dangerous to be around the daughter, doesn't the mom have the responsibility to keep that away from her?
Correct. I agree with that. That's why I just wish they might have shown. They just made it out to be like, and that is a huge bug. That is a huge fucking bug. It's by the door.
Oh, okay.
What is that?
A huge fucking bug.
It needs to die.
It's a bat.
It needs to die right now. It's going to freak me out the whole show. That thing needs to die.
There's going to be a murder on this show.
You got a shoe you can smack it with or kill it with. I don't care if it smirts on the wall. It needs to die. Like right now. I can't continue until it's dead. Other than that, the Broncos lost today, or lost yesterday, 16-3. They only got offense in the second half. It was pretty pathetic. See it? What is that thing? Spider?
Some kind of beetle. I don't know.
That was massive, though, right?
Yeah, it's pretty huge.
Cockroach, maybe?
It is not a cockroach.
Okay. How the fuck is that thing alive in 0-degree temperatures?
They live in your walls. They live in your windows.
Oh, that's fucking...
Yeah, older buildings like this usually get insects like this in the walls. It's just what happens. This building's like 50 or 60 years old, so they live in the walls.
So, frightening.
Yep.
See no evil.
See no evil.
Anyways, back to BatCast. I just went through a football rant while we had to commit a murder.
I heard that. Yeah. All right. So overall, though, Batman ends up figuring out a way to the guy is throughout the show you find out that he
back to what I was talking about
with
before
the daughter.
Yeah.
You're going deep on this one.
Well, from what I've gathered from it, he's a criminal that steals. That's what we got from it, that he was a bank robber kind of person, like someone that robs, not necessarily a murderer. I think there might be a little bit of a difference there. Like if he's a murderer, then I say like absolutely not. You can't even meet this guy. But if he's just stealing stuff, even though I know that's criminal is a criminal, I don't know if the episode should have took the approach that he is just completely in the 100% in the wrong, even though he is. The episode continue he is, but from the very beginning they said he is without even showing what he did.
Right.
So I thought maybe
she implied that he robbed banks because she made the one comment during the show.
But from the context in the beginning of the show, is that correct? That's what she said. Like, because she might also be angry at him for other reasons. So it's going to be a little bit of a thing. I mean, we've both experienced maybe not exactly. My situation's a little different than your situation, but like with me, when my parents split up, you have the mom saying bad things about the dad and the dad saying bad things about the mom. That's why I just don't like that the episode took the approach by saying that the mom is 100% right. She's just being righteous. I just kind of would rather it seemed to me that he was trying to reach out to just talk to his daughter.
Oh yeah, he wanted to have some contact with her to see her, but it almost seemed like more like he wanted to repair the entire relationship, and the mom was having none of that because she felt like he was dangerous to her. So like she was doing the right thing, as you said, she was doing the right thing. I think, I mean, you don't know what he did, but obviously, like if you're going to look that deep into it, he was being an armed robber and robbing gas stations and stuff. 24-hour gas stations is what she said in the show. So like it just doesn't.
Do you think that
sound like someone I would want my child around? Not around,
but
even to have contact with.
To make some kind of amends, like saying like this is your father. He is everyone's.
That was not his goal.
I know, but I think that might have prevented a lot of this if there was some kind of like he said. Okay, she said, okay, well you're a bad person, but I'll let you have a conversation with her if I'm present, kind of thing.
Okay.
But I don't know. That's the deep part of where I was getting at. Like that I didn't necessarily like the cookie cutter, like I'm the bad guy. I thought there was a little bit more into his character than just he's just a criminal. Because to me he was stealing to try to get more money so he could provide first. Because she said he was a bum.
Right.
And he was doing it. And like in all these episodes, when you see the criminal try to do when he does something bad, he's doing it in his own righteous mind. He's not just being a criminal like other than the Joker. The Joker's the only one that has no motive. Where you have this character who was like, he was all in on trying to repair a relationship, and he felt the only way to do that was to get money. So he was wrong, but he was in his righteous mind.
It was more along he wanted to provide. It wasn't. Right. It wasn't even about like the money as much as he wanted to make up for the fact that he wasn't around. He was a bum, and he was trying to be a provider.
Right.
Because he kept on saying, "I want to provide you with, a life. I can provide you with anything." But yeah, like you said, he was delusional. He was wrong.
Right.
So,
but in his own mind, I don't feel like he's just the insane. I don't think he's necessarily a quote unquote bad man. He just made some bad decisions.
And you find out throughout the show too that the suit he's wearing for the to make him invisible is causing him, mental harm also. So probably whatever decisions he's making that are bad are being amplified by the suit that he's wearing.
Because I don't think the normal him without the suit would have tried to abduct his daughter.
Right.
Because he would have done that in the very beginning.
And even throughout the show, it shows that he's progressively getting crazier and crazier.
Right.
Where he was in the beginning of the show, he was calm and everything, and then like as he started wearing the suit more, and he did that robbery and everything to try to get the money to provide daughter's mom with the money, he got progressively crazier to the point where he abducted her. So.
This is an episode that you didn't even need Batman in when you really think about it. But Batman plays the role of Sherlock Holmes. Like a Sherlock Holmes, a Dick Tracy, like a detective. Like you said earlier, he figured it out, who it is, what they were going to do to stop him. And then you have the fight in the water tank, which was awesome.
Yeah, where he got the little shurikens into what's the bat term for them? Bat blades.
Oh, the bat sharks or whatever.
Where he got those into the water tank and made it shower water.
Like a sharper batarang.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Overall, I thought it was a pretty strong episode.
Yeah, it was a strong episode. I love that they didn't rely on main villain again. You didn't have Joker or anything like that in there. He had
music was good, very eerie.
Yep.
Dark overblown storytelling.
Yep.
Animation. I mean, this is where this episode did strong. In all 3 episodes, the animations were just like almost movie quality, like with the colors and how they showed, especially in the Grey Ghost one. I can't wait to get to that one because I felt like that was the strongest episode we saw.
Of the 3, yes.
Right.
Yes.
I would actually put it as the second best episode that we've seen in the series so far. As a standalone episode, that's not including the 2-parters.
Sure. Sure.
I don't know. I thought this was interesting, and it was funny because I was watching it today, and I don't remember seeing this episode ever. So I mean, I must have seen it before, but I just don't remember it, or I was too young and didn't understand the story. I think a theme a lot in a lot of these episodes. If you're real young, like 5-6 years old, you're not going to understand a lot that's going on.
You're completely viewing it from a different perspective when you're that young. So
I just remember watching it, and I just loved the Batman, like the confrontations he'd get into. But then as I got a little older, I got into the whole detective storytelling. That's why the Riddler episodes are my favorite. Those are just like those.
Yeah, we
awesome.
haven't gotten one of those yet.
Not till season 2. He doesn't show up till season 2. He's only in 3 episodes, which sucks because I really liked him. They did a really good job with this Riddler, and I'm excited for you to actually see what they did with their Riddler compared to everyone else's Riddler, which sucks. I've not seen a good interpretation of the Riddler, except for
you have to watch the Adam West Batman.
Joker in a green costume. Correct. That's the way they've made the Riddler. Same thing in Batman Forever. They had
Jim Carrey.
Well, they started off strong with it. I felt like the first part of Batman Forever was okay. And then the second half, when they started wearing the costumes and being absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Two-Face was the Joker with half a face, and Riddler was Ace Ventura in a Riddler costume.
Correct.
I mean, that's all it was.
That's what Jim Carrey is. All he played at that point.
At that point, correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have. Do you have anything else you want to add to this?
No, it was a solid episode. I think you pretty well broke it down. Enjoyable. Yeah, very enjoyable. Good writing, good animation.
Very good writing, yeah. I would like for them to expand this a little bit more. Maybe this could have been a 2-parter. There's a lot that they could have done. They could have showed a flashback of maybe what he did. I want to know more about the actual character. What kind of a person was he before? And then maybe when he was in jail, was he dedicating his life to try to get back in good graces with his daughter and his ex-wife? That's stuff that could be further explained. It's not a complaint I have, but it's something that I would like to see more of. This could have been deeperly told, but I thought for the 21 minutes they had, this is the best I could have possibly done.
Correct.
Second episode.
Next up, we have See No Evil, which, like you said before, was
Beware of the
Grey Ghost. Oh yeah, dude, I just did See No Evil. Wow, I'm looking at my screen and I said the same episode twice. All right, Beware, and it's they have Beware the Grey Ghost. The screen has Beware of Gray Ghost. So we're going to call it Beware of the Gray Ghost.
We'll just put them both
and we're
together.
just going to combine them both. All right, so a series of bombings reminiscent of a long-lost TV series occur, and the washed-up star of it may be connected.
Yeah, I felt like this was another strong story. Holy crap! This got me to a point where it was like you felt. Okay, so anyways, back to your summary before I get into it.
Yep. No, that was the summary.
So, what did you think of the episode?
Nostalgia-wise, this was a good episode because you got Adam West playing the character the Gray Ghost, who was essentially his character.
Yeah.
In his Batman, but not Batman, to Bruce Wayne.
The way they were making it look like that Adam West was a guy who played Batman on TV, and Kevin Conroy is actually Batman.
Correct.
That is really cool. They're using a TV show character incorporated into it's real surreal. Like it blows my mind. So the
older talent was helping the younger talent get over.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Something that we don't see very often in storytelling.
Okay.
So Batman is trying to find the big bomber, the Great Bomber, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Some stupid name or whatever from the TV show.
Something Bomber, yeah.
One thing I noticed about the TV show, The Gray Ghost, you know when you watch a lot of cartoons or you watch a lot of TV shows and they talk about their favorite cartoon and they show you the cartoon and it looks really hokey and you'd be like, I would never watch this shit. I want to watch some Gray Ghost episodes. Gray Ghost seemed like it felt like Bruce was watching Batman the Animated Series. Like they were doing deep storytelling within storytelling.
Right.
I mean, this is getting kind of meta now. It's just like, whoa.
Oh yeah, that was pretty much the entire episode. It was very, very self-reflective, very meta, as you put it.
You have Adam West's character who's looking at because pretty much, let's break down Adam West's career, just in general, after Batman. Did he ever really land a real role where he didn't play himself? Or another Batman role? Like, is there any other role besides that?
I mean, he's been in and out of things off and on through the years. Let's see here. We'll just pull up his IMDb here.
Right.
See what he's got.
Because that happens a lot when you become a big character, that it's tough to get casted as another big character just because everyone's going to remember you as that character. Yeah. It's like Christian Bale with Batman now. I mean, he did some stuff before Batman.
He was very, very well established before Batman. I mean, American Psycho, fantastic movie. I mean, he was
right.
But yeah,
But it wasn't like when George Clooney got the role. You know.
Right.
And same thing with like Michael Keaton when he was Batman. He had he was another established actor. Maybe not as big as Michael, not as good as or not as much as Christian Bale, but it took Michael Keaton a while before he started getting other movie roles. Ray LaRotta was another one that, like, after Goodfellas, didn't really do a whole lot, and then when he got older, he got cast in a ton of movies.
Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders.
Yeah, that's that
Batman voice. He was in The Big Bang Theory as Adam West.
Right.
Let's see. Done a lot of voice acting.
Yeah. But
he had a voice in Grand Theft Auto 5.
The thing is, I remember that one too. The thing was with Adam West is he played a character on TV, like himself in person.
Mermaid Man.
And after that, all he's done is he went into voice animation. Same thing kind of happened with Mark Hamill.
30 Rock, Adam West. Fairly Odd Parents, Adam West.
So you get the point.
Correct.
Yeah, he's
pretty much
Catman.
I mean,
he was Adam West, which was in Fairly Odd Parents, and then he would dress up at night and become Catman.
yeah, I mean, he's done a ton of voice acting, and of course he's been in Family Guy this whole time.
Well, he's a famous voice actor. He's one of the famous voice actors out there. But the point that I'm trying to say is, when he goes home at night and he tries to reflect on his career, you could see the ghost character. That could be him. That could be an Adam West character, especially like a couple years or 10, 15 years after his show aired. So Adam West in the 80s. So this is what we're talking about.
Let's see here. He's been in so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunately a lot of one-off things where he was here, he was there.
But he hasn't had another major role. That's my point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, the only things where he has reoccurring roles is when he's playing Batman. So, like, Super Friends, the legendary Superpower show in 1984, 8 episodes as Batman. I mean, he's been in everything. Laverne and Shirley. Let's see here.
But anyways, the point.
Yeah, I mean, your point's valid completely. I mean.
So anyways, so he sits there and he's staring at all his stuff, and he realizes his agent can't get him a job because nobody wants to hire the Gray Ghost because that's all he's known for. And so he's self-reflecting, looking at his stuff on the wall, and then kind of realizes he has to sell all the stuff that made him to pay for his rent. Until he passes out, Batman comes in, sends him a note saying, "You need to meet me here," scares the shit out of him. I don't know why he just didn't call him.
No.
Originally, say, "Hey, I'm Batman, suck my dick," and then hang up the phone.
Suck my dick.
But yeah, and then this was really cool to see this surreal, like, the actor who plays a superhero and an actual superhero who's actually being played by another actor. But we know it's, like I said, it's meta, and it's realizing that doesn't really exist and all that stuff. Animation was awesome. The explosions, so many explosions.
Yeah, it was nothing but explosions to the point where, like I said at one point, it reminded me of Captain America.
Right.
Because they were trying to do the right thing, but they were pretty much destroying all of Gotham City in the process. Like, everything just kept on exploding, and they're just, whatever.
This is the first time you actually see Bruce, like, extremely happy since he's been Batman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's
working with his childhood hero.
Exactly. It's a childhood hero of his that he's finally getting to meet, work with, deal with, almost like a peer. He's being what he, based part of his character on. He's with what he's based part of his character on.
It was nice to see that the Batcave was completely modeled after the Grey Ghost lair.
Right.
That was kind of cool. The collection that he has in the Batcave of the Grey Ghost stuff, which I think is kind of weird. It's actually in the Bat. Like, it's actually in the Batcave. Like, it's not up in Wayne Manor or anything like that. It's in the actual Batcave. Like, what would he reason to go in that room while he's Batman? While he's working? That's the thing. That's kind of cool. This was awesome. I recommend to go see it. Download it on PlayStation Store if they can get a buy episode if you want. Otherwise, I think Walmart actually sells the first season, so the first and second season, or they sell just the second.
I don't remember.
They sell one. I think they sell this one. At least ours does.
Well, at the very least, they're online. So.
Right. So, absolutely. You got anything else for us?
There's really nothing else I could add to it. I mean, you definitely enjoyed this one. Like, you appreciate it a little more than I can for what it is, and it was a very good episode. I'm glad they brought Adam West in to give this Batman the rub, sort of. it legitimized the series even further by having, even though Adam West hasn't had any major roles, he was Batman for a lot of people, and this gives, this kind of passes the torch.
It's the same thing. The newer Batman movies now, like A Son of Batman versus Robin, and Batman Bad Blood, they have flashbacks of Bruce when they have a new voice actor playing Batman now. So they have Bruce as a kid, and the guy who voices his father is actually Kevin Conroy. So they actually got Kevin Conroy in not to play Batman for once, but to play Bruce's father. Trying to get
kind of further give the rub, torch.
like saying like, hey, this is the new Batman. Appreciate you have to deal with this now. Or maybe people in the 90s were like, we miss Adam West. And this Kevin Conroy guy is pretty good, but we like Adam West. And then Adam West is like, we're pushing him now. We're gonna give him the rub. We're gonna put him over at WrestleMania.
You kind of have to look at it too, like it's kind of placating all the fans that are asking for him, because maybe some of them are thinking they asked Adam West and he said no, or whatever it may be. They're showing, hey, we're bringing him in. He's here, but we went in a different direction. This is the direction we want to go with, but here he is. So
you have seen 19 episodes
correct
so far. Evaluation process. Kevin Conroy as Batman.
He's actually very good. He's probably. I'm not gonna. I'll wait until the end, but he's very good. He's very.
I
good.
don't think there's anyone better.
He plays the character to all of its strengths. He plays the character the way it's supposed to be. But I guess everyone could have their own opinion of how they want the character to be.
It also comes down to his writing's been very good too. Maybe his lines haven't been the greatest.
Well, as the series progresses, the writing's been significantly better, and he's had more opportunity to speak.
Right.
And it really shines on the episodes where you don't have another major villain. Like when you have the Joker in an episode, for instance. I mean, the focus is obviously going to be on the Joker, and 80% of the script is going to go to the Joker. But on with these 3 episodes, obviously you have the opportunity for him to speak more.
Right. I don't have a whole lot to add with Beware the Grey Ghost. I just think that it's one of the better ones I've seen. I can't stress enough about the storytelling they told, and how he the end was kind of cool too. That Bruce told him in the Batcave that I used to watch you with my father as a kid. You were my hero. I modeled myself after you. And then he said the same thing to him when he got his book signed. Immediately what he meant. And just kind of winked. Yeah, no, he didn't do that. But
and a left turn.
That was a swerve I didn't see coming. But yeah, that was the thing. He revealed his secret identity to an actor. Doesn't do that very often.
Correct. All right. Next up, we have Prophecy of Doom. Another one without a major villain in it. Let's see here. You want your breakdown? You're going to get your breakdown. But I have to just get off of IMDb first. So.
Dun, 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 dun. Hold on before you do your little breakdown here.
Whoa.
Prophecy. Prophecy of Doom. Gobble.
Yes.
Maybe. We'll see if this works.
I can't believe I was so gullible.
Okay, fuck, it didn't work. All right. Give me the...
So, Prophecy of Doom. A con man convinces a large group of Gotham's richest men that he can see into the future by arranging a series of near-fatal accidents. Essentially, self-fulfilling prophecies. Something, and then he would make it come true. You're going to die, and then kills you, pretty much. So.
This one was okay. I think this was the weakest of the three.
Yes.
I think it's very forgettable, too. I mean, it's... What made it strong, the animation, once again, was really good. I thought
Yes.
I picked that right in the beginning. Voice acting was good, and I thought that Batman was really good in this one.
Concept for it, for sure. Kind of taking on con men, kind of false prophets, kind of like that Miss Cleo kind of thing. I'm a fan of that because I have really strong feelings about, like, you know, people who prophesize all that and take advantage of people for their money. What this episode was about.
Cold reading, that kind of
Cold
stuff.
reading, exactly, like
John
that John Edward guy, yeah, who was a complete fraud and a proven fraud, and all those people
and a douche. And for biggest douche in the Universal War.
Correct, he won.
Yeah.
He won against what? Douche, the douche from the Douche Galaxy and all that stuff. Like, yeah,
and a big giant douche. But yeah, he douche. So Batman, he meets John Edwards. And he realizes that the guy's a fraud right off the bat.
Correct.
I mean, it's Bruce. Bruce doesn't believe in that type of shit anyways. So John Edwards tells him that he's going to see severe doom. And Bruce immediately knew that whatever. He just shrugged it off like, whatever, buddy. And then the elevator collapsed with him in it. Somehow he got out as Batman, which was
time. He immediately switched into the bat suit.
Makes me wonder if he's wearing that underneath his suit all the time, and he just has
it's like mask. Spandex just underneath there, holding together, and then just tears out of it, Superman style.
Right. And then he comes flying out of the elevator, and now how does this guy who's supposed to be kind of good at cold reading and reading people, you'd think he'd have some kind of skill sets to kind of put one and one together. Like, why would Batman be hovering around Wayne Industries in the middle of the day?
You know, reasons.
Right. Why would he be in, like, he came out of the elevator, but the guy, Crook didn't see that part because he was already running away. So right. I guess that's possible.
Well, it wasn't even cold readings for him as much as he just like prophesized huge events,
right,
and then made them happen. That was his whole shtick,
right?
So,
well, he was a complete fraud too because he wasn't even smart,
right?
Like he wasn't even like a guy that could possibly, like he didn't show any signs of intelligence outside of just being a con man.
Correct.
And
he was an actor,
right? An actor, so he wasn't even doing anything. Made him at least somewhat intelligent, where he would have been able to kind of like if I'm like him, my number one obsession was to try to figure out who Batman is. That's probably what I would want to do because I figured you could make a lot of money off of that.
Right.
But Correct. This guy was complete fraud, and there's not a whole lot here. I mean, this was kind of I didn't necessarily hate the episode by any means, but I don't think it was that.
You could have had Robin in it.
True.
Robin in it.
True. I don't know. I think because it came on right after the Gray Ghost. I mean, this happened to us last week.
This is exactly what I was talking about the last time with our main event match, where right you had a very strong episode, You actually had two strong episodes in the right order because we had See No Evil, which was great. Good episode, and then you had Beware of Gray Ghost, which was better.
Right.
And then you kind of had this one. So maybe if we would have watched it the other way around, you wouldn't have noticed as strongly that this one wasn't as good as the other two.
I think next week we will be doing 4 episodes again because we have a 2-parter.
Okay.
So the Feet of Clay will be next week, and then I gotta pull out the list because
The list.
I don't have it.
You just made the list.
List of Jericho. So we'll have the Joker's Favor as well, and then Vendetta. Oh, ooh, got the Appointment in Crime Alley. That one's coming up. That's a good one too. Looking forward to some of these.
So would you go on a limb and say that Batman the Animated Series is your favorite like animated?
Absolutely.
Anything? Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Like non-comedy because you know like
I don't know. I really like Justice League.
Okay.
I really like I thought Justice League had better storytelling, but I think the animated series is more Batman focused. But I like the Batman from Justice League way better than this one. Because it's the same Batman. It's the same voice actor. It's the same writing, but he's smarter, older, and they match him up against superpower villains and stuff like that, and he holds his own.
Right.
Which is really cool.
I'm worried. This is really good. Like I like Batman Beyond for nostalgia's sake and all that, but for this category, it's really good. You know, I wouldn't compare this to things like The Simpsons or Family Guy or SpongeBob or anything like that because they're kind of in a category of their own.
Right.
You know what?
They're children cartoons.
Well, more SpongeBob than the others, but you know they are good for what they are also, and in their categories like Animaniacs, I lump in there and all that, where it's more like comedy based.
The ones back then that were similar to this, you had Batman the Animated Series. Then you had Gargoyles, which was I
remember Gargoyles.
Gargoyles, which was Disney's at that time. That was like Disney's version of their kind of show. That was supposed to be kind of a Batman kind of show, much more serious, dark overtone, and they had a storyline that went across an entire season. Most shows didn't do that back then.
I'll tell you one. I think I've talked about this before. One I actually like really followed was X-Men.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
And that one actually had like they would do a recap at the beginning of each episode where they actually broke down what happened like so far this season, what happened in the last episode, who's dead, who's here, who's there. Like it actually had a story, like a continuing story, a whole story arc through a season. So where all these Batman episodes are very standalone, like X-Men, like if you missed an episode, you're in bad shape because you don't know what's happening. So you couldn't just pick it up from the middle.
I went back and watched because I used to watch X-Men as a kid too, but not like I watched Batman. I wasn't really into it as much because of how old they've aged. They haven't aged well. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I've seen a few recently too.
Right.
Yeah.
Batman animated series feels like it hasn't really aged much. Like it obviously has aged because it's hand drawn, but I mean like its animation style. I just really like it. So it makes it like I don't feel like I'm watching something from the 90s. I feel like I'm watching something current.
Yeah. But something can be said
90s.
for that animation style though.
Right.
Like G.I. Joe and Thundercats and all that kind of stuff.
Never was a fan of it, but yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean though. Yeah.
I didn't watch any of that stuff either. Like I was more I always because my parents I skipped a generation. So like 80s cartoons I didn't see.
Well, G.I. Joe was running reruns when I was growing up, so I got into that pretty heavy for a while.
I used to watch, obviously, Batman, and then Animaniacs, then some of the other stuff that was on Cartoon Network, the older stuff, Scooby-Doo, obviously. I think everyone's seen Scooby-Doo. I like Top Cat.
Do you remember when classic cartoons were on Saturday mornings?
Yes.
Like 50s, 60s classic. Yeah. Didn't you love that?
Yeah, I miss Cartoon Network. They used to have, at night, they used to play Looney Tunes. They used to play Tom and Jerry. I mean, they still kind of play Tom and Jerry. But they moved everything to Boomerang, and now Boomerang doesn't really play the old stuff. They play stuff from the 90s now. And they play... Cartoon Network was weird because you had your Toonami show, which was supposed to be your current cartoons. Then you had cartoon stuff. So that's the brand name. Johnny Bravo, which was a Seth MacFarlane cartoon, by the way.
Yep.
Cow and Chicken, Powerpuff Girls, and Dexter.
Courage Cowardly Dog.
That was later, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little later. That
Love
was
Courage.
Yeah, that was a good one too. But like those were all like later, and then you had the late night. Remember Space Ghost?
No.
You don't remember Space Ghost Coast to Coast?
No.
Where he would it was like fake. It was like one of those clip show where he fake interviewed people.
No.
Yeah, because Space Ghost used to be a hero back in like the 50s and 60s, and then in the 90s he had a talk show because he's retired now. He's a retired superhero. So now you have a talk show, and Brack, who was one of the villains back then, is also part of the show, and Zorak, who he would always blow up at the end of every episode because he'd say something that pissed him off, and then he would shoot him with his beam. But yeah, they would interview like Ben Affleck, Jim Carrey, stuff like that. But they were like clips from another interview.
Right.
And Space Ghost never listened to what they said. He always would ask them questions about himself. If you had the Mask VHS, like the Mask DVD with Jim Carrey, at the very end of the Mask is a Space Ghost Coast to Coast episode with Jim Carrey talking about the Mask and Space Ghost not giving a fuck about it.
Okay.
So it used to be a cartoon for kids, and then it turned into they put it on Adult Swim later on when Adult Swim came on and ruined Cartoon Network, in my opinion.
Adult Swim should have been its own thing.
It should have been only on Sunday nights like it originally started. It was supposed to be a Sunday night thing only.
Yeah, because it became too popular for itself, and it ate into the core of what Cartoon Network was. Adult Swim had some good shit. Yeah. Not as much anymore.
Right.
But, I mean, Mike Tyson Mysteries is very good. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Fucking phenomenal show.
Which I get it, but it should have been its own thing. I missed watching old cartoons. I missed watching Yogi Bear at night. Gumby used to be like at 2 a.m.
Here's the brutal part of Adult Swim. When they started moving away from the animated part of it. Live action, because then you further got away from like what it was supposed to be like. Okay, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim are your adult cartoons. Like that makes sense to me. Okay, I got it. I'm still following it. Still makes no sense to have it on every night, but okay, got it. But then you have live action shows on there, and they were good shows, but it further took away. Like Metalocalypse is one of my favorite shows of all time. That's animated, of course, but I don't know. Did you watch that one at all?
No, I stopped watching Adult Swim probably like after I got out of high school. I just stopped watching it altogether for the most part.
Yeah, they had some winners on there. They definitely did.
When I was in high school, they just put Family Guy on like my freshman year. They put them on Adult Swim because they got canceled from Fox. So Cartoon Network put it on, and then they were playing the old episodes. And then the original shows like Home Movies. Remember the Oblongs?
Well, they all got pushed back to like the 5 a.m. time slot.
Yeah, but they were on like it used to be Family Guy until like 9 o'clock, and then you'd have Remember, I think it was called Mission Hill or something like that, where it was a director or a cartoonist. And it was stupid, but I liked it because it had a cake theme song in the beginning. The Oblongs was another one. Aqua Team Hunger Force was part of that block as well, which is one of the better ones from there. And that was about it. Like that was pretty much all they had. And then then you had Space Ghost Coast to Coast was part of the Sunday block. A C-Lab 2021 or whatever, that was part of it.
Some of those were so stoner though that I couldn't get into them.
Right. I mean, I didn't like most of them. I liked Aqua Team Hunger Force. I liked Mission Hill. That one I remember watching it and actually kind of enjoying it. Because it wasn't necessarily a comedic cartoon. It was an adult cartoon. It was it was like watching King of the Hill kind of thing. And I liked King of the Hill.
I couldn't get into it.
King of the Hill?
When it was first on. And now when I watched an episode, I'm like, this is actually
it's
a
good.
parallel would be MASH. I couldn't stand the show MASH when I was like younger. And then like when I watched an episode of MASH, now I'm like, wow, this was deep.
But that's the same thing with me, Batman Beyond. We're getting back to Batman now.
Yeah.
I hated Batman Beyond when it first started because I couldn't stand the fact that Bruce was older. And I could not accept Terry McGinnis as the new Batman. Like I just immediately just hated it.
Right.
I hated the music. I hated the the futuristic feel to it, that sci-fi style. I hated it. And then like 5-6 years ago, I just went back and rewatched it, and it's a really good show.
Correct.
So I mean, like it's easy like that. I did not like Superman the animated series. It's not bad. I used to hate Superman. I don't really hate Superman anymore. I actually like him in Justice League. He's awesome in Justice League because they humanize him a little bit. They don't make him super powerful because he always has to hold back.
Right.
I understand that aspect of Superman. Batman he's got that never gives up. He'll always he will strategically find a way to win his battles. Superman is another one who doesn't go in with any strategy, and when has to hold back because he could just kill anyone at any moment.
Right.
But he realizes that he can't do that. So there's a scene in Justice League where he's fighting Darkseid. That's Darkseid, you know. He's Superman's equal, if not stronger. He is stronger. And he punches him once, and he's like, living on this planet, I feel like a god among a god among people. That, yeah, I might be a hero. I might be a guy who can save the day. I find a way to save the day all the time. But there's always one thing that I could lose control just one bit, and it could all go to waste. That I could lose my control and accidentally kill someone, because I can do that. I always have to hold back because it's like fighting against insects. But when I fight you, I'll lose and show you how powerful I really can be. And he like punched him across the world. He punched him across. He went all completely around the world and came back. Like one of those, like he punched the shit out of him.
Okay.
And then Darkseid hit him with some kind of Omega beam, and Superman was on the ground like, because he can feel pain. Right. He just doesn't really die. He's like, imagine the most painful thing in the entire world times 1,000. Now times that by 1,000,000.
All right.
And that's what it feels like.
Okay. Yeah, without being able to go into shock. Yeah, hell yeah.
And I've also appreciated Superman the way he's been written, how loyal him and Batman are to each other. Like how Batman will always have his back, even if Superman might be in the wrong. And same thing with Superman with Batman.
But
I mean, like if you watch the movie Public Enemies, you'll see that. If you see the movie Apocalypse, you'll see that. In the Justice League series, he always backs Batman regardless of what he does. And Justice League Doom, that's another movie. Stole all of Batman's plans because Batman wrote up plans of how he could neutralize the entire Justice League, what he would do. He knew all their weaknesses. And Vandal Savage got hold of those plans and then tweaked them a bit to kill all of them. And the fact was Justice League was able to get over it, obviously, and overcome it. So they had a meeting at the table, all the members of there, whether if Batman should be allowed to be in the Justice League anymore, since it was a breach of trust. And Batman told them, he's like, if you people can't see the dangers of an out of control Justice League, then I don't belong here. I don't need to wait for a vote. And he just got up and walked. He was the only one who went after him and asked him, he's like, that plan where Bane at one of your plans? He's like, no, it wasn't. It's like, you didn't write a plan for yourself? Are you that arrogant? Like, what if you were to fall on the bad side? What's going to stop you? He's like, I did write a plan. It's called the Justice League. He's like, okay, just checking. And he said, and then he gave him a kryptonite bullet, and he said, if the League does fall in the wrong hands, you're the only one I can trust to be able to do what is necessary. So there's that trust. So Superman was like one that I hated as a kid and grew up just really appreciating. That, and he's one of DC's top 2, and I'm all
DC
in on
all the way. Yeah.
I'm DC. I'm a DC guy.
Yeah.
I'm one of the only. So there's not a lot of them around here.
Well,
because Marvel's gotten real popular over the years.
Yeah, well,
because they got a lot of good movies, but their animation sucks.
When you have the backing of Disney, I mean,
their animation sucks and their TV shows suck outside the ones that are on Netflix. Those are good, but they're too gory to put on TV.
Yeah.
Daredevil is gory as hell because they've added the Punisher to it now.
Well,
and the
good.
Punisher just involves just blood spread everywhere. Like every time you see a Punisher episode, it's just everyone gets killed.
Well, good. Good.
You got any other shows?
Shows?
Yeah, some shows that you disliked as a kid and then you went back and watched. What about shows that you liked as a kid that you thought were awesome? Because you remember in the 90s, like you'd see a TV show that was good, and then it would go off the air and you could never see it again. And then every once in a while you would catch it because this is back before the internet, so you couldn't just look it up on YouTube. I can watch it on YouTube or ended up on Netflix, and you rewatch it and realize, wow,
Goosebumps.
This sucked. It's Goosebumps for you?
Goosebumps.
Angry Beavers. I used to love that show as a kid, and I didn't get to see a lot of episodes of it, but I went back and rewatched it. I'm like, this show sucks.
Goosebumps would be the exact opposite, where, yeah.
Real Monsters, another bad one I didn't like. Went back. Hey Arnold, not so good. I liked it as a kid. Not a really good show. Doug.
There really aren't that many for me. Like,
Doug.
I didn't mind Doug.
Sucks.
Wow, there goes my childhood. Jesus
right, a lot of them suck.
It was very 90s.
We pride ourselves as we had the best cartoons in the world when we were kids. We also had some of the worsts.
I didn't think Doug was that bad, though.
It's bad. It's a show about nothing. There's no plot. There's nothing going on.
Recess.
That was okay. I went back and watched that one too. That one's still okay.
Okay.
That one's all right. Okay. Disney had some solid shows once, because Doug originally was a Nicktoon, and then Disney got it.
Yeah, it was on ABC Kids. Yep.
Right. Disney had a couple of good ones. Darkwing Duck. You ever seen that one?
No.
That one's really good. He's a duck. He's like
he's
Batman.
A duck.
He's Batman, but he's a duck. You know what I mean? And so his whole thing is he's a complete parody of what DC or what Warner Brothers was doing with Batman. They made him like this dark, mysterious creature, but he sucked at fighting. He always got his ass kicked, and everyone thought he was a joke, except he thought he was great. So that's what made it really funny.
Triple H.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good one. Obviously, Rescue Rangers and Tailspin, those were solid shows that Disney had. I mean, Disney was pumping out a lot of like strong animated shows, and
they had a lot of their huge movies from that time they made into Aladdin, the Little Mermaid,
Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah, they were pushing all of those too. So yeah, they actually continued that trend through the mid 2000s. They just kept on doing that just for, because they were able to then get the merchandising rights from all the Lilo and Stitch, Winnie the Pooh, all
Think
that.
about Aladdin. I really liked the first. Obviously, the first one was really good. The second movie, I thought it was okay. Jafar is a really good villain, so it really makes for a strong movie if you have Jafar in it.
Yeah.
It was all right. The third one was surprisingly good. Like, I went back and rewatched it. It's actually surprisingly good. It still feels like it should be a 3-part episode of the Aladdin animated series or whatever,
right.
But it's still good. I mean, good writing is still good writing. This wasn't great writing, but it was still, like, solid. I thought it was all right. The story they were trying to tell.
No one has watched the animated Aladdin, so congratulations on that. It's like me and you.
Yeah, nobody watched it. Well, none of us could see it. Disney Channel was a blocked. Anyone that especially lived around here.
Yeah, but it was.
You had to get on digital cable, and not all of us had that.
Yeah, but I know they ended up putting it all in the syndication. They did. That's how I saw it, because I didn't have cable.
Right.
So I saw it when it was in syndication because it used to come on Channel 18.
Okay, so Saturday morning cartoons or whatever?
Afternoon.
Aladdin was on 18?
Yeah, when I was,
sure?
yes, I'm absolutely sure. It was in syndication. It was like when I was in kindergarten, first grade, and second grade.
It wasn't Channel 12?
I'm absolutely sure. Because it was on weekdays. And the Channel 12 didn't do animation on weekdays. So Aladdin was on at like 3:30, I want to say. 3:30 or 4.
That could be because I didn't have cable until I didn't have cable until second grade. So
because Channel 18 was always running like Aladdin and like the Disney ones that were in syndication, and then Channel 24 had it was like Fox Kids or whatever, and they would run like Power Rangers and like Yu-Gi-Oh and all that kind of. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh much later on, but
way later on.
Like
Yu-Gi-Oh was high school.
Yeah, that was after like a bunch of stuff. But yeah, they ran like Power Rangers and that sort of thing when it was like Fox Kids.
Yeah, when I used to watch
Fox Box or whatever the fuck it was.
When I used to watch the Channel 18, whatever the one that had Yu-Gi-Oh on it.
And then Channel 18 went to like WB Kids, and then after that it went to like Pokemon and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That might have still been when it was Kids WB or whatever.
Oh, well, in Kids WB, like I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons even in high school, like freshman year still. It used to be Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, The Batman, that just started, and which I watched a little bit of it and didn't like it. That's another one I didn't like in the beginning. Went back and rewatched it, just like actually pretty good. So
yeah, didn't you like though, like being able to count on those super structured blocks when you were a kid? Mm-hmm. Like when you would like know, like okay, 7:30, it's this. 8 o'clock is this. I have to be up by this time because this is on at this time.
Yeah, you knew.
Okay, the rerun of last week's episode comes on at this time. Like you had it all worked out in your mind,
mm-hmm.
and now that's like gone.
And like, when I was in second grade, I actually wrote down the shows that I would watch from when I got home from school until I went to bed. Like,
because
I knew what time.
I actually like would flip between channel 12, channel 18, and channel 24. Like because like I liked Recess a lot, so Recess usually came on at 8 o'clock, and 8 o'clock nothing was really on WB, so I went to watch Recess for a while, and then like around 10 o'clock is when I'd switch over to 24, because then like Digimon came on or whatever, and like I was really weird about like, and then usually after that, then I would switch back to channel 12 at like 11 o'clock, and like I don't know, I miss those days.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I had cable when I moved here to Waukesha. When I was in Milwaukee, I didn't have it.
Yeah, I didn't have cable until I was like 19 years old. So
okay.
Yeah, so
you missed Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that stuff.
Good stuff at that time.
I remember watching like the animated stuff like Bugs Bunny and all that when it was on Channel 58. Because Channel 58 used to play it all on Saturday mornings.
CBS?
Yeah.
Did you guys? Okay.
And then there was one channel that was like down in Racine or Kenosha. It was like Channel 63 that you could get sometimes, and they would play it all on Saturday mornings too.
They used to play that a lot on Cartoon Network. They used to have the Warner Brothers. They had Looney Tunes for 2 hours. Then they had a thing called the Tex Avery Show, where Tex
Avery was fucking amazing. You know Tex Avery.
Yeah.
That was a great fucking show.
Yep, they would play all the Tex Avery cartoons with the coyote, and that was
Tex Avery. I used to watch that every morning because it used to be Garfield, mm-hmm. then Tex Avery, and then X-Men would come on.
Did you ever watch one I watched as a kid, and I really enjoyed it through all grade school because I read like everything about it. The Peanuts. Charlie Brown.
I never really got into those. The only time I would watch those would be like everyone else. The holidays, like the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, those ones aren't that good.
I know,
but like the standalones, like the shorts, they had a lot of shorts, and the one thing, and Charlie Brown shorts were short. But I mean, like, I remember getting into it because I liked the base. They did a lot of baseball humor. I really, really enjoyed that as a kid because I used to go out and play baseball and no one ever would play or anything. You never could get enough people to play when I was younger. Back then, you could get a group of kids out to go play ball or football. You couldn't. When I grew up, you couldn't get that many people.
Right.
It was weird.
Right.
Everything was so much structured.
Tex Avery, man, that brings back memories.
Yeah, the Tex Avery show. Then they had Chuck Jones show too. All the Chuck Jones shows. You know, like if you were, you'd be watching one of those Looney Tune cartoons, and they always had a thing that said "Eat at Joe's." Like down the diner would say "Eat at Joe's." That was a lot of stuff that was by the writer, the Chuck Jones shit. So the "Eat at Joe's," that was all like his stuff, and they always did that for him, which was cool.
Huh.
The original Daffy Duck was insane. and then he turned into what he is kind of now.
Did you ever like Garfield?
Yeah, okay.
Garfield and Friends?
He was all right.
Did you like Garfield more or the stuff that they did on the farm?
Garfield.
Really? Okay, I was a fan of the farm stuff. I always liked the farm stuff. Well, the first part of Garfield, because it was always Garfield, the farm stuff, and then like the short Garfield, you know what I mean? Like they did the longer Garfield segment in the beginning of it that actually had the good story. Then they did the equally long farm segment with like the pig and all that, and then they did the short. So I didn't mind the first Garfield, but I like the farm stuff. The farm stuff is always what I like.
This was my more. I used because my school started in elementary, so it started I think at 8:45.
Yeah.
Or 8:30. So I used to get up at 5:45 every morning, and I would watch. When I turned on TV, it was Garfield. It was always the farm stuff. That's all I would catch, the last part of it. So I never caught the beginning part of Garfield. Maybe that's why I like the Garfield part better, because I didn't get to see it. And then after that, it was the Peanuts, and that was from 6 to 7. They had an hour. It was called the Charlie Brown and Snoopy Show. I used to love that shit. And then Rugrats, flip back over to Nickelodeon. Was a show right before, and then at 8 o'clock was Rugrats. And then I would go to school, start walking to school after Rugrats because I lived right by the school. So like that was always my morning.
Yeah, so yours was structured a little bit differently than mine, just because like I had to leave earlier and I didn't have the stations you had.
Right.
So
Rugrats was also a pretty solid show.
Yeah, I missed
the original Rugrats.
I unfortunately missed that whole craze. I felt like I was missing out on everything because I never knew what anyone was talking about.
Yeah. And then Magic School Bus was one I
love
watch.
the Magic School. That was on PBS.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my shows. I was just talking about that with someone the other day. I saw a Magic School Bus shirt at the store I was going to.
Yeah, I had a couple Magic School Bus games.
I had all the books.
On the computer.
You like Carmen Sandiego?
The show or the
show.
game? I never really watched it.
Oh, really? That's pretty good.
That one I never really watched.
Mid-90s.
Mm-hmm. I know when it was. I just never really watched it.
Book of Virtues?
No.
No, I didn't get into that.
Wishbone.
Loved Wishbone. Loved Wishbone.
I used to watch that a little bit when I lived in Milwaukee. And then obviously, I think we both watched the hell out of The Simpsons.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, that was like my favorite show.
That's why I can't get into the new Simpsons.
What do you mean the news? You mean
the last 15 seasons?
They're okay. They're all right. I appreciate it for what it is. They've done everything you possibly can do.
Yeah, but
they still can give you good jokes. And the one thing I love about The Simpsons that I love about it, first of all, it gets compared to Family Guy all the time, and Family Guy can go suck a dick compared to what The Simpsons.
Well, The Simpsons is actually writing.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So The Simpsons has a story that they want to do. First of all, the first 5 minutes are always bullshit, right. And then they get into the real story. And the thing is, I'll be watching The Simpsons, like the characters in general. Every character has its own identity. Every character, you know what that character is going to do. There's some bullshit random, no Peter Copter, none of that stoner bullshit that Family Guy does. I hate Family Guy at this point. I liked it the first season because they didn't rely on flashbacks to tell their jokes. There was a part where the Simpsons made a Family Guy joke, and it was really good. They're at the kitchen table, and Homer's like, "Yeah, it was that one time I did this," and then the screen paused, and Homer's like, "We're not doing no flashback. We got this." So they made a Family Guy joke, like, no, there's not gonna be no flashback.
We got this. That's funny. Okay, so Family Guy is Family Guy, and I'll say I appreciate Family Guy for what it is. So that being said, fuck Family Guy. I liked American Dad. It was a solid show, and it didn't get the credit it deserved. And
same thing with Cleveland Show.
The Cleveland Show was not that bad. It was not that bad.
Actually, that was good.
They actually told stories.
Mm-hmm.
They were like American Dad was awesome, fucking awesome show.
Cleveland Show was what King of the Hill was, but with a Family Guy kind of edge to it.
Correct. And American Dad was goofier.
And it showed me that Seth MacFarlane can do like that type of humor and tell a story.
Mhm.
And I like Seth MacFarlane. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like Family Guy.
I like that his shows all have a unique identity.
Right.
So Family Guy is funny for what Family Guy is. And if you don't try to compare it to anything else, if you don't compare it to South Park or The Simpsons, it's a good show.
Right.
It's a good show.
But the thing is, you're always going to. There's always going to be comparisons because the people that watch The Simpsons, which there aren't a lot anymore, but Family Guy fans will essentially shit on The Simpsons. They're like, "Oh, this is way better. This is more edgier, whatever." But they don't realize that The Simpsons they were so. And Family Guy used to make jokes on it because there was like a little bit of a thing where the writers and everything, they didn't really like each other until they made that crossover show, which was kind of their way of mending that bridge finally.
Right.
But they used to take shots at The Simpsons a lot. Family Guy did. Like they would say they made fun of the episode where Bart cut off the statue head. Like that was one of the bigger episodes of there. And they did it in like 2 minutes in a Family Guy episode. So, oh, this wasn't that bad. What's so controversial about this?
Missing the point.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like the thing is like lasted forever. They always were the number one rated thing that was going on at the time. The Simpsons if you there's a thing that's like what was the number one show for each year? The Simpsons shows up, I think, for 1988 or something like that. Like that, they were the number one show in 1988. That's when they first started. So if you were born in 1988, you are a Simpsons guy.
1989. The beginning of 1989.
Right. Well, I was the middle of 88. So the thing was like, and then Simpsons, I like that they never got away from their characters. They didn't just totally turn Homer into an idiot. They didn't make Marge like Family Guy was good in the beginning because their characters were all individually unique. And this is coming from a guy who watched a lot of Family Guy, like especially when I was in high school, which was 10 years ago now at this point. So you have Peter Griffin, who's kind of a dumbass, but he always would try to do the right thing.
Right.
Brian was very intelligent, but no one ever really acknowledged the fact that they had a talking dog.
Right.
They would communicate they treated him like he was a person.
Right.
Stewie was the evil baby. And then Meg was kind of supposed to be kind of like the Lisa Simpson kind of character. She actually had character development. They actually tried to Peter actually did stuff to help her. There was the episode where Meg was being made fun of at school, and Peter went to school as the cool kid, so he could date like that. That was one of the older episodes. The point being, and then you had Quagmire, who was kind of the pervert. Cleveland, which was the token black guy who lived across the street, and then Joe was
the cripple.
The cripple. Fast forwarding to now, some of those are still the same. Peter is just absolutely insane now.
Stewie is gay.
Stewie's gay. Brian's a liberal. He just turned into a liberal now.
He's Seth MacFarlane now.
Right, he's Seth MacFarlane. And Lois is not the strong character she was when the show first started.
And Meg is just the butt of the joke.
Yes, and that's what I can't stand about it. Never did that to Lisa Simpson. They made her a strong character, and a lot of things happened in The Simpsons that were innovating, like when Bleeding Gums died. He was a part of that series for years, and they killed him off. Flanders' wife, when she died.
Yep.
Maud. That was, and it was kind of a joke how it happened, but they stuck with it. They didn't.
Correct.
They killed off a character and did just bring it back 3 episodes later, like Family Guy did with Brian. And they made a joke about it because that's what they do. I loved how South Park really ripped them when they made the Family Guy episode, the Family Guy threesome episode. That was the epitome of what Family Guy is.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a real eye opener for me.
Yeah, where they just ripped it. Now you could easily do the same thing to South Park.
Well, South Park kind of has lost its edge now. This last season, like now they're doing one storyline that goes across an entire season. I hate that.
Yeah.
I like the idea of maybe something like if something happens, it's acknowledged later. That I'm okay with. Like, but I don't like having if I want to watch an episode of South Park, there's no real good standalone episode now for the last 2 years. And I feel like the last good series was the year before where they did the whole Black Friday thing.
Yeah.
And then that turned into the Stick of Truth game. Like, we can make a game with this stick right here. And then that game happened. And it's like Stick of Truth coming out soon. And then Butters comes like, yeah, if you believe that, then you can suck my big flabby wiener or something like that.
Yep. And there it is.
And it came out like 2 years after the fact.
Yep. Survived THQ closing. It would come out sooner.
Right.
That was a THQ game.
Don't they have another one coming out?
Yep. Very soon.
When's that come out? Cool. I'm getting that one. I really like Stick of Truth. That was a good one.
I'm not big for turn-based strategy. Or turn-based RPG. Sorry.
So I like that. That's what I grew up
Final
with.
Fantasy.
I don't like Final Fantasy. I don't like the story of Final Fantasy, but I liked Earthbound. And
I don't mind it on handhelds. I don't like it on console.
Earthbound was like that.
Handhelds, I can deal with it on handhelds like Pokemon and all that, but I do not like it on console.
But it makes
Knights of the Old
parody.
Republic is the only one that I am okay with. Then they had that whole card system that they had in there too, and so yeah, Batman and stuff. So
are we wrapping it up?
I think so.
All right. That was a fun hour and a half again.
Yep, just under.
And we'll continue to do that where we'll talk, we'll stick in the topic for Batman in the beginning, and then we'll move on to other things because sometimes there's stuff to talk about. Did you watch the pay-per-view last night?
Yes, I did.
And you said you liked it.
I liked it. Overall, I liked it. I questioned the decisions they made, but the matches were really good.
All right.
That's really my thing right now. Like I do not like the direction they're moving in, but I do appreciate the matches that they had. I loved the tag team match. That was a great match.
That was
the Cesaro, Sheamus, New Day one. Oh man, that was a good match. Like they had me. Like they had me in that match. Like where I'm like, come on, I was hating the New Day. Fucking hating the New Day.
Yeah, because they were doing heel shit, and they're such a babyface team.
Yeah.
Like it used to get me. It was getting me angry. The Braun Strowman, Sami
That was
Zayn
a
thing
stupid match. That was a shit match. That should have been a goddamn pre-show. I would have moved the Rusev and Colin Cassidy one up to the main to the main show, but
I thought Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns was solid, real solid. But the women's Iron Man match actually surprised me to be as really good as good as it was.
Yeah, they just need to stop jamming that down our throats.
What I didn't like about it, and I'll say this before we close. The ending of the match made no fucking sense to me. You had Sasha, who was in that figure four for like a minute and a half. She taps out with 2 seconds left. That makes no sense. At that point, will she release the hold within that, like immediately in that 2 seconds? No, she's gonna hold on for another 2 seconds anyway.
Looks stupid.
Like, why would she even at that point? Why would you even tap out?
Right.
Plus, you're giving her the tie. Like, I would probably tap out if I was up a fall, like up 2 falls or whatever, where it wouldn't matter.
Right.
But it makes no sense to tap out because it's not like you stop the damage early.
Correct.
She should have tapped out with 45 seconds left. Or a minute.
I would have tapped out right after.
If you wanted to.
Right. If you were going to do it that
out.
way, but that would have been the best finish. Because they're weakening the title every time they move it now.
Well, I think they're trying to make Charlotte like this. She never loses on pay-per-view, but she'll lose on Raw.
Oh, that's stupid.
Right, because she's like 15-0 on pay-per-view now. I don't know if you knew that.
That's a ridiculous record.
Right, she's won 15. So that's why I knew she was going to win. Because they kept pushing that. They kept pushing that in the commentary, which was fucking awful, by the way, again. Austin Aries is pretty solid on the...
Yeah, he is.
I actually liked the Cruiserweight match. Like that was one
good.
of the first
ones.
ones.
Fuck, yeah, Neville looked like a beast.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That was all interesting to me, and I like Schwann. I think he's actually really entertaining.
Rick Swann, yeah.
He's hilarious. He's got personality. The man with the plan, Brian Kendrick. That's the man with the plan. That's my guy, dude. That's my favorite guy right now. And then fuck TJ Perkins.
I don't mind him. He's whatever.
Fuck him. His entrance music is awesome. That's about it.
His whole entrance, yeah.
But I'm a man with a plan. I'm hoping he's coming out with Ezekiel Jackson next week. That'd be kind of awesome.
Jesus Christ, you remember that?
That was when he was the Brian Kendrick. That was that thing. Then when he was in TNA, he was the wrestling Buddha.
Yeah, Ezekiel Jackson now has one eye, and he's in Lucha Underground. So let's throw that out there. He's Big Zeke.
All right, with that, I'm Andrew Karachi alongside
Robert Roth.
And we will be back next week. Next week, Monday.
You are a disgrace. No, you are not my father. I am not a disgrace. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Yeah.